Hey, welcome back to Zack of All Trades. I'm Zack, and tonight we're going to be building a sturdy workbench out of an old door. If you've watched any more than a couple of my videos, you're likely very familiar with this workbench, the workbench that I've been working on for years, an old mechanic's workbench that was actually given to me by a good friend of mine, and it's good. It's good for a mechanic's workbench. It's great for rebuilding alternators or taking apart weed whackers and stuff like that. But when it comes to woodworking, well, not so much. I mean, there's no place to clamp. I screwed this onto the top of it just so I'd have some sort of place to clamp. It's not very big. There's not a whole lot of room on it. It just doesn't really work very well as a woodworking bench. But the thought of adding more furniture to my already shrinking garage didn't really appeal to me. So I came up with what I think is a pretty brilliant idea, and I want to show it to you. And so I went and bought a solid wood door. Just a side note, I don't know how widespread the Habitat for Humanity restore is throughout the country. If you have one near you, go visit the restore. I bought this door, this solid wood door, for 40 bucks. Tell me some place where you can find a laminated solid wood countertop, as it were, for 40 bucks. Anyway, my brilliant idea is to use the hinges and attach it to the wall so that if I should need this garage space back, I can just fold it up and then fold it back down whenever I'm done doing what I'm doing, whether I need to park a car in here for some reason, broken window or something, or replacing the engine in a zombie Jeep or something of that nature. I had considered for a short while using those hinges just on the surface that they're on and cutting off, I don't know, whatever that is, about 4 inches of this door to get rid of this void right here when I take out the latch mechanism. But the more I thought of it, it occurred to me that the whole reason for this project is to get more work surface. So why in the heck would I go cutting off of the front of my new work surface just so that I could keep the hinges on that surface? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the hinges over to this side, and then we'll mount it up against the wall. Something I wanted to be really intentional about was the height of this workbench. There's a lot to be said for ergonomics and not being worn out after a couple of hours of working on your workbench. And I did a little bit of reading on it, and it turns out that really the difference in an inch or a couple of inches has a real different effect on your body. So I set out to learn what's the proper height for a workbench, and of course, much like measuring yourself for a bicycle or shoes or any other doggone thing, it's very individual to the person. So what you need to be able to do if you're setting up your workbench, if you have the luxury of determining the height of your workbench, the height needs to be so that you can stand straight and put your hand flat and put it just on the surface of your workbench. I did a little bit of measurements on myself, and it turned out that my measurements were about 1.5 inches off. So I can't quite reach it without stretching or leaning over or bending down. So I need to, this is just kind of a mock-up that I did just to see how it was going to work in front of the window here. So what I need to do is I need to remock it, I guess, and bring it up that other, 1.5 inches. We'll double check that, and then we'll get to work on the hinges. Oh, that's better. See if we can make it level. Yeah, that feels better. I mean, we'll excuse the fact that the floor is not exactly level, but that feels like that's a winner right there. Before I take down my mock-up here, I got a little bit of marking to do. I want to mark halfway, which I did the math off camera. I've grown to learn that that's a bad thing to do, is try to do math on camera. So anyway, 41 7/8 is the middle of this thing. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm going to mark where I'm going to put my hinges. Originally, the hinges are very close to the top and to the bottom. Of course, they're not designed for supporting this way. So I'm actually going to move them in just a little bit, not a whole heck of a lot, but I'd like to have them a little bit closer to the, I don't know, not only at the edge, and I really don't want to put 3 hinges on it, so I'm going to distribute them a little bit more evenly. I think 18 inches it will be. Now you're probably wondering just exactly why I'm going through all the work of actually doing the mortise for the hinge here. And I will be honest, I debated not doing it, but one of the things that has always irked me about my old mechanics tool bench is the fact that the top, there's a gap between the top surface and the back surface. So occasionally, if you drop something, a screw or a drill bit, marble maybe, I don't know, stuff will tend to roll all the way to the back of the table. It drops down into the abyss, and then you never see it again. So one of the things that I want to eliminate with this table, this bench, is that I want it to be tight. I don't want there to be gaps in the mating surface. So if I was to just screw this in, which believe me, I wanted to do, but if I screw it in, I'm going to have a gap that big, and that's big enough for that little nail or that screw to fall in between, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take the time and do it right. And one last thing before I take this thing down off the wall. I'm going to go ahead and pull this latch out so we can be done with that. I'll show you guys what this latch looks like in here. It's actually pretty cool. I'm thinking, like, I don't know, maybe some collector might want it. If anybody wants a latch, you let me know. I will send it your way. Oh yeah, take the screws out, dummy. There we go. Check that bad boy out. Don't make them like that anymore, huh? Isn't that cool? Alright, so now you see the holes that I've got. One smallish hole, one keyhole, and one hole right there. That's what I didn't want to have on my front edge. I don't know, it'd probably be just fine for clamping on, but it looks ugly. Alright, if this thing falls and crushes my foot, you'll know what happened. I guess it wasn't that heavy. Congratulations, you've just achieved time travel, because it's now tomorrow. My camera ran out of storage, my body ran out of oomph, and I had to just call it for the night. But I'm back, and I hope to get this thing at least attached to the wall, and somewhat functional, or at least somewhat rigid, before the little monsters wake up from naps and the rest of the family day continues. Here's what I got done last night after the camera ran out of storage. I got the hinges put in there, got them put in the mortises. This is the thing that I'm very proud of. Look at that. You remember that gap that I was mentioning where your drill bits roll down through, or little screws or marbles or what have you? There's no gap there. I'm exceptionally happy with that. So really, all I've got left to do, I need to cut the end off of that. This board right here, which is, of course, one of the, I don't know, I guess you'd call it a rafter from the Giving trailer. This thing just keeps giving, man. I'm going to cut the end off of that. I'm going to screw that onto the wall properly in place, and I think the way that I'll do it, I'll just go ahead and pull the pins out of here. Since I know that everything's perfectly aligned, I'll pull the pins out of the hinges so that I can just screw that onto the wall, and then putting the door on there will be as easy as lining it up, slapping the pins in, and it'll be good to go. You know what? I think before I start putting this up here, I'm going to evict some of these wretched spiders from underneath here, or at least their evidence. This place where we live, I love it. It's a wonderful place to live. But this place has more spiders than any place I've ever lived or knowingly been. Spider webs everywhere. I mean, we've got daddy long legs, we've got black widows, we've got wolf spiders, we've got brown widows, we got, I don't know. I haven't seen a recluse here, but I'm sure if they're anywhere, they're here. I keep thinking that one of these days I'll grow up and get a real plumb bob. But, well, I haven't done either one of those things just yet. So, I'm going to have to use a nut, piece of wax string, and thumbtack. Reason being is I've marked, I don't know, my OCD, if you will not let me have this workbench off-centered from the window. There's something magical about symmetry. Maybe magical is the wrong word, but symmetry in me. I gotta have things symmetrical, or else it really bugs me. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna transfer this mark down here to the center mark on my board, and that way I can get it all centered and then leveled up. Alright, after a little bit of sweat, there she is. All sturdy and level, and I hope it's at the right level, because, well, there are a couple of screws that got fairly well stripped. They're probably never ever going to come out. I'm probably going to have to drill those out if I ever want to get them out. So, not exactly my proudest moment, but there it is. Let's get the door on it, shall we? And this would be why I save stupid tiny little lengths of rope for when you only need a little bit. One side. Wiggle in there, you. There we go. That wasn't quite as easy as I had hoped, but it is in there, and of course my hammer is out of reach, so I can't pound the pins all the way in. They're in far enough to hold it, So next, I'll go for my temporary leg here. Support it so I can go and get that hammer. Beauty. Let me get this bugger level and see how I did. I don't know why. There's not much possibility of changing it anyway, so comfortably flat-handed on the tabletop. There's my work surface. Good level. Let's see how well she folds up. Oh, dude. Up and out of the way like a dream, huh? Look at that. Oh, I like it. All right, so I think that's going to be about all for today, or at least for this video. I don't know, I'm probably going to get started here in a couple of minutes on the next part of it. But, yeah, there we go. Finally got it attached. I feel like it's pretty sturdy, and I'm really happy with it so far. So I hope that you'll give it a thumbs up if you liked it. I hope that you will also give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Somebody mentioned something about that the other day. It's always, there's a separation between taking stuff personally and being able to take things as constructive criticism. Because even if somebody is being a jerk and just clicking the thumbs down in order to try to be a troll or what have you, if I get thumbs down on a video, if I get a multiple thumbs down, if I get a bunch of them, I can kind of go back and I can analyze that and try to figure out what I did wrong. Maybe not what I did wrong, but figure out what not to do, so that I can go ahead and make the upcoming content better for you guys, more enjoyable for you guys. So yeah, give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also if you haven't done the Instagram following thing, I haven't touched my Instagram account for, I don't know, I think it's been a year or better, but I'm going to try to get back into that. I'm going to try to occasionally post up a photo or a quick video clip of maybe the stuff that's going on that maybe doesn't fit into a video, or stuff that I don't have time to edit and upload onto YouTube. So if you haven't done so already, I think that I have the Instagram thing. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm pointing to the right side. I think I have a little Instagram link down there. I will try to make sure that it's active before I upload this, so that you can click it. And that way you can just stay up to date a little bit better what's going on. I've taken enough of your time. Thank you so much for it. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.